It's springtime. How do I know? Nothing to do with the weather. I get questions about pesticide residues on food because it is at this time of the year that the Environmental Working Group, an activist organization in Washington, puts out its list of dirty dozen. The 12 fruits and vegetables that have the most pesticide residues and that they suggest we should find organic versions of. I have a problem with this. Numbers are the currency of science, and there's not one number that is associated with this press release. I would want to know what pesticide residues were found, how many, and to what extent. Because when we are going to determine toxicity, we have to know exposure, we have to know dose, and for that we have to know numbers. Yes, there are pesticide residues, because we cannot feed the billions of people in the world who require to be fed without using agrochemicals, and there will be traces of residues. However, pesticides are not used just with wild abandon. They're regulated by agencies around the world. So, for example, pesticides are fed to animals. Rodents, mice, rats are the classic ones. And you start giving them increasing doses until you find some negative effect. Then you cut back the dose to where there is no effect. And then you divide that by a safety factor of 100 to come up with what is said to be the acceptable daily intake. So, how do the residues found by Environmental Working Group compare to the acceptable daily intake? We don't know because they don't provide any numbers. Furthermore, it should be understood that organic produce can also harbor pesticide residues. There's a whole slew of pesticides that are allowed in organic agriculture with the stipulation that they must come from a natural source. For example, things like copper sulfate or pyrethrins extracted from chrysanthemums are used in organic agriculture. We don't have to worry about residues because they're regulated the same way as any other pesticide. So safety, of course, is in the mind of all the regulatory agencies. So unless the Environmental Working Group can come up with numbers to show us that those pesticide residues are at a dangerous level, I don't pay much attention to this. Of course, soon as you go to their website, you also get a solicitation for money so that they can carry out their work to protect us from all the dangerous chemicals that are out there. But before I jump on that bandwagon, I want to know what residues, to what extent, that they have found. And without those numbers forthcoming, all we are looking at is a ploy to raise funds.